the Scrum framework, people always question that. The Scrum framework, if you look at it here, especially for those that are Scrum masters, and then people that are agile students, you realize that the Scrum framework starts from the product backlog. And at times people, you know, unless they have experienced it practically, they often would just say, oh, product backlog. But when you drill them to find out what is this product backlog, what does it consist of? What is it about? Some people get very vague because they don't really, they can't drill down to what is it that is this product backlog. Everybody says product backlog, but what is it? And so that was what inspired me to say, okay, let me break down this Scrum framework into a way that could be explainable. And that was basically what brought about this this drawing. So let's look at this drawing, and if it is possible for you, just look at it for 1 minute, and then I'll talk now. Just look at it for 1 minute. If we look at this now, you realize that basically, if you look at it now, you see that basically this is from the product backlog item. Let me now make just 1 second. So from the product backlog aspect, we know the product owner is constantly refining the product backlog. He's the one that interacts with the customer, and as he or she interacts with the customer, is collecting requirements, collecting features, functionalities of products. It's collecting everything that is needed to do the work. And is just dropping them into this bucket, dropping them into this bucket. And the product owner will now work on this constantly, ensure that this becomes detailed, whereby he or she will add additional required details. And then it becomes estimated, whereby we can be able to say, how long can this take us? Emergent, because constantly orders are being added to it. Any new thing added to it. Any new thing added to it. Okay. And the product owner is constantly prioritizing this. So when I say, I want search functionality, oh, I need to be able to log on to this website. Oh, I need to be able to reset my password. Oh, I need frequently asked questions. Oh, I need chatbot. Those are all the things that are going into the product backlog. And there is a goal attached to this. The goal is is our goal to make a Toyota car. It's our goal to make an e-commerce website. It's our goal to make an e-learning website. It's our goal to incorporate chatbots onto our website. Whatever it is, there is a goal behind this product backlog item. But don't forget, the product owner is constantly refining this backlog at the back of the scene. Behind the scene, at the back of the whole thing. Either you're a business analyst, a Scrum master, or whatever, this is what goes on. Then, it continually order them by saying, based on value, based on importance, this will be number 1, this will be number 2, this will be number 3. And the ones that are priority, they will be the ones that he or she will move up here and refine and add more data, more details. The ones that are bigger, you see they are at the bottom. The ones that are bigger, they are not urgent yet. But anyone that is urgent, they will break it into pieces and it will become this ordered item, whereby when he or she has finished enough that could enable people to go into sprint, then the team can say, hey guys, it's time for our sprint planning. At sprint planning, we just meet to consider these ordered items, to now be able to say, based on our capabilities, this is what we can complete based on the story size. Story size will indicate the complexity of each of the tasks, so that every task in your conference, every task that you're going to enter into JIRA, that becomes the refined item. Those are the refined item which the team, during the sprint planning, we will do that on Tuesday. During the sprint planning, all the items that you guys are working on, we will put them. Let's assume your AI chatbot, you want to prepare all those artifacts you want to prepare. We'll throw them into that bucket. We will now say, our coordinator has given us 5 tasks, 7 tasks for the week. How many of these 7 tasks can we finish? So based on what we can finish, we will select what we can finish here. Let's assume we select these 5. So the sprint backlog consists of the items we selected that we can commit to deliver during the sprint. We won't pick anything that we think is outside of our capability. And that's where our availability, our capability, our dependency across teams will play a part. The risk will play a part. And so when we select what we've selected, then the team will be working together during the sprint. The team will be working together during the sprint. And when the team is working together during the sprint, what do we see? You see them working around the clock, and then they have the daily scrum, 15 minutes every day, as they are working together, depends on the sprint. If it is 1 week sprint, if it is 2 week sprint, if it is 3 week sprint, if it is 4 week sprint, whatever number of weeks, then the team starts working together during that sprint. And when the sprint is over, they go into the sprint review meeting. And so in the sprint review meeting, that is where they showcase what they have done based on the definition of done. That is the quality criteria, acceptance criteria, every test that needs to be done, every branding that needs to be on the product, everything that will make it to be something we can put our seal, our stamp on to say, yes, this is our organization. And that's what led to our package, our increment. You can see it's ready to use, completely sorted. It has met the customer expectation, the definition of done, everything that we need there. And so once we meet the definition of done, an increment is born. If what we delivered that we showcase to the stakeholders, if it does not meet definition of done, it is not counted as increment. And so once we have done it, just like you guys presented, and all the stakeholders, the reviewers, the judges, they gave their feedback about the product. Oh, you did this very well. Oh, this one you didn't capture the gap analysis. Oh, this one you didn't capture that. Oh, this one you didn't perform the risk analysis. Oh, this one you didn't do the cost analysis. When they give their feedback and they say, oh, wow, this is a brilliant job, complete, cool, it's okay, then it becomes an increment. And so the stakeholders that are in the sprint review, they can go back home. All of them can disperse. But the Scrum team will now go and continue a meeting, which we call the sprint retrospective. The sprint review, take note, consists of the team and the stakeholders, the users of your product, the customer that will use your product. All those are involved in the sprint review. But when the sprint review is over, it depends on the number of weeks of your sprint. If your sprint is 4 weeks, the sprint review is a 4-hour event. If you are having a 4 weeks sprint, it will be a 4-hour event. If you are having a 2-week sprint, then it will be half, which will mean 2-hour event. The retrospective only consists of the team. Stakeholders don't come to join here. It's the team alone where they do their self-reflection, where they look at the tools that we use, our interaction with one another, our processes. Is there anything that is right or wrong? Oh, did we notice that two team members were not talking to themselves? They were fighting themselves, or they are picking on each other. If we don't solve that problem, it will become a sticking point, and it will lead to breakdown of communication in our team. And don't forget, because it's a self-managing team, we need to have peace of mind. We need to have good interaction. Otherwise, it will impact productivity. So that's what sprint retrospective is all about. And it's usually a 3-hour meeting if it is a 4-week sprint. But if it is half of the time, that is, if it is 2-week sprint, then your sprint retrospective will be a 1.5 hours meeting. So it's important to take note, in the sprint retrospective, we're not talking about the product there. We're not talking about the product. The focus is on us. It's about us. That is, our interactions, our tools, our processes, and how can we improve ourselves? What are we doing that is not right, that we need to change? What have we not been doing that we should start doing? Any steps to improve our processes? What tools should we start using? And stuff like that. And we will now talk about the steps. It's not just about talk. Talk is cheap. It's not just about talks. But if we say, oh, we should be doing so, then what are the practical steps? Action plan. If we say we shouldn't be doing so and so, what are the practical steps, the plan to ensure that we follow that thing? So that's what is very critical in the sprint retrospective. So, and once the sprint retrospective is over, then another iteration starts. Another iteration starts. Once we have that, another iteration starts, and then the cycle continues, where we go back to the sprint planning. Don't forget, while the team is doing sprint planning, after the sprint planning, when the team is going to having their backlog, sprint backlog, having the daily scrum, having the sprint and everything like that, working on it and giving report, daily scrum, sprint review and everything, the product owner in the background is continually refining this backlog so that the product backlog, could it be epics, user stories, tasks, use cases, defects that have been noticed in some of our deliverables, research work that needs to be done, every functionality, every technical work that we need to perform, every feature. The product owner is constantly refining this in the back end. And when he or she has got enough that the team can kick off with, they start the sprint. But once you've started the sprint, the process just continues. When you continue, you have your sprint planning, you select what your team will do, you have your daily scrum every day, you have your sprint review, you have your sprint retrospective back. The product owner will have ordered some things for you guys. You go and pick it again, and the cycle continues. And that's why they say the Scrum team works in iterations. So that's what I just wanted to share with us. It's just to give us more insight diagrammatically, and I hope you find this relevant to your learning. Once again, thank you very much, everyone.
Sorry, Oludare.
Sorry. Okay. Okay.
Is this being recorded? Is there a way which I can go through what you just
Yes, it's recorded. Yes.
So it will be on LMS, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
I would just let me see whether I can pause this because I'll put this on our public. That's why I want anyone mentioning your name. I'll put this on public domain as well, so it's okay.
Okay.
The live session.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can you also post it on our Telegram group, please?
Yeah, it will be all. It will be on our. It will be on our LMS, and it will be handled there, like I said. And I'll leave a copy of this recording. Even I'll put it on YouTube as well, so that we can watch it when we want to. Okay, let me stop recording, and then I can take any questions. Just give me a second. So I think you were going to ask a question. Yes, over to you.
Yes, sir. So I wanted to ask, when it gets to the increment after the sprint review, it means that it must have a definition of done. That means all the presentations and everything the team agrees on must be done. So what happens when, let me say, there are artifacts or parts of the project or the presentation that the team have not agreed on particularly? Is it paused, or do they go back to do another review again until those things are now done?
Okay. Thank you very much for that question. Yes, over to you, Lisa. Thank you.
Okay. I just wanted to say the sprint process, yes? If you look at a Scrum or a Kanban board, you will see you've got the backlog, then you've got it in progress. Most Scrum teams would then have some sort of a column for code review. So another person would look at the code that has been created or whatever product has been created, and then it would go into QA. So you'd have a tester who would actually run tests against scenarios. Then it would go to some form of PO approval process before deploy and then done. That's like a 5-cycle into the sprint itself. So when you talk about the sprint, within the sprint is broken up into different stages for pieces of work. So by the time it gets to done, it has been tested by another developer. It has been tested by a tester or somebody who's acting in that capacity. The product owner has reviewed it and has decided that, yes, this is what I envisioned when I created the epic and when I created the user story. Yes, so you can deploy it. Deploy is where it gets, after deploy, it gets put into done. Done means it goes into live or it goes into production. So it actually goes out to users. All of those other stages is internal to the organization, to various members of the team. Before it actually touches users, it touches many different people within the team. Does that make sense?
Yes, fantastic. Thank you.
So if I add one, thank you very much for that. If I add something, I was trying to bring up a Scrum board. I was trying to bring up a Scrum board. Let's assume we just call this practice. Let's assume we just call it practice 1 board. You can see the key is there. So let's assume we have this practice 1 board. And with what happens is that when you have this board, sorry, please mute yourself if you have messy background. Sorry, guys, everyone. Okay, let me just say. So when you have this is what Lisa just explained. So when you have this, you realize that active sprints, whatever thing that does not fully get into done. You know, in your question, when the sprint is over, we realize there are some tasks that are not fully done. So any task that is not fully done, maybe the testing is not complete, maybe there is a code error, maybe whatever that has happened, but it's not meeting the definition of done. You remember when we did this, it doesn't meet the definition of done. So it's not a complete finished increment. In that case, what happens is that it will be returned back into your backlog. It will return back into your backlog where the product owner would prioritize it. The reason why we don't say that you automatically carry it on to the next sprint is that there are times when there might be more urgent things that just crop up. Maybe something, maybe from a customer side, there is need for us to maintain a feature on the customer website, or something that is more urgent has come. That, oh, this is what, you know, we don't want to disrupt the flow of the team once the Scrum starts. Once the sprint starts, you don't want to disrupt their flow. So they remain focused to the goal of the sprint. And then when the sprint is over, there may be other pending things that have been waiting for the sprint to be over. So those things, product owner will prioritize those things. So if there's anything you have not completely done in line with definition of done, rather than saying that, oh, we will move it to next sprint. No, we'll move it to the backlog to be prioritized again. So if it is still going to be priority, if there's nothing else that comes up that is urgent, then we as a team, if I make this bigger again, we as a team, we can come again and look at the requirements, the features, the functionalities, the epics, the user stories, the tasks that were all broken down and refined and ordered by the product owner in line with the product goal, in line with everything they believe needs to be done here, and it has been refined with the details. Then our team will select those items, including the one we didn't finish properly last sprint. We will take those on. Don't forget some of the factors that determine how many things we can select, how many items in the product backlog items can we select during the sprint planning is what is our capacity. The team capacity is very important. What is our capacity? Are some of our members going on annual leave? Are some of them sick? Are some of them on training? If we have been working on 5 stories, that is 5 different major tasks in the past 2 sprints. Sprint 1, we did 5. Sprint 2, let's say we did 5. Sprint 3, half of our members are not going to be available because one is traveling, another one is sick, another one is going on annual leave. Let's assume 1/3 of our members, 1/3, are going to be away this sprint. And we have been working on 5 stories in the last 2 sprints. You know, because our capacity has reduced, our manpower has reduced, we are not going to be able to pick the same number of 5 stories that we normally work on. So that's why capacity, the number of items you can pick is depend on your capacity, your team capacity. And again, what determines what you are picking in the sprint planning, again, is based on what is in the product backlog. 2, your team capacity. 3, what you have finished in the last sprint. Because if you are building a product, let's assume we are building a car engine. I usually use that example. Let's assume we are building a car engine. We are Volvo or we are Mercedes, and a customer has requested for 100 pieces of car engine. Yes. You know, car engine has components like battery, alternator, radiator, engine block, and the cables. Let's say those 5 components. If we have said, let's do battery first. We have finished battery. Battery has met definition of done. We are working on alternator. Alternator, we are working on that. It meets definition of done. You know, it is the remaining items, engine block, radiator, and the cables. Those 3 things are what remains. So in our next sprint now, we cannot just decide to say, oh, we want to go and work on roofing materials. No, we have something that is in line with the overall product goal. The overall product goal is to make a complete car engine. So what you have delivered out of your overall release plan, whereby you have said, we're going to release this car engine in 3 months. But in month 1, we'll do battery. Month 2, we'll do plugs. We'll do a radiator. Month 3, we'll do this. So we have a release plan of 6 months to finish the car engine. Whichever we have finished, the outstanding ones is one of the factors that will determine what are we selecting in our sprint planning. So in other words, factors that determine what to select during the sprint planning include your team capacity, like I've said, the items in the backlog 2, 3, what is in line with your overall product goal that you need to deliver, and 4, your overall capacity. If we don't have the skills, let's assume there is one particular task that requires SQL databases, or maybe we need to have Python skills to make that next assignment, and none of us has Python skills, or none of us has SQL skills. So we need to send one of us to an intensive 1-week training before we can do that task. So definitely, because we don't have the skills for that, we can't pick that task. So we will push down the task and take another one. So those are factors that guide your sprint planning, that help you to determine, what am I going to do during this sprint? What am I going to select? And when we have selected the ones we are going to select, out of items that have been refined by the product owner, based on the story size, based on the size to know, are they small enough to be completed during this sprint? That's why the story size matters, because you can't pick a task that you cannot finish in 1 sprint. That task needs to still be broken down into sizable chunks that we can finish successfully during the sprint. And so the developers, that is the entire developers, they will now select what they can commit to deliver during the sprint. That's why you say you don't bite more than what you can chew. So they select that, and then the team continue working together all through the sprint. Every day they are having their daily scrum, and then they are having the sprint review at the end when the sprint is over. Don't forget, you cannot say that because we have not finished, our sprint is ending tomorrow. You cannot say, oh, let's extend it to next week because you have not finished. No. Whenever the day your sprint is ending, that's the day it will have to end. Wherever you get to. That's why we always advise, don't pick too many tasks than what you have capacity for. Because anyone you can't finish in line with definition of done is just like a waste. You have to throw it back into the product backlog. Yes, thank you. I've explained that extensively so that for those that are new, they can be able to understand how this works. Any other question?
Quick one, sir. Quick one, Prof. I get confused, but I know people, different organizations use it differently. You have epic, feature, user story, task. So how does that play out? Where does feature come into play? Where do you use feature?
Thank you very much for that question. Basically, you know what you want to deliver, because this cuts across different industries. Features, if you say, let me use a car. I mean, a lot of them are just names that there are things that they all refer to things that relate to your requirements. let's say features. We want to say, let's say we say a car. Let's use that Mercedes again, or Volvo. You want to say that, oh, what are the features of this car? That is, what are the characteristics? What are the key components, the qualities of this car, the capabilities of this car? Oh, you want to say, oh, it has power steering, it has power window, it has open roof. Those are the features of that car. If you want to look at the website, oh, our website, it has self-payment mode. On the website, you can do automated payment. Oh, it has a chatbot. Oh, it has you can categorize all your product listing. You can list all your products. There are features. It has the privacy features whereby you see the cookies, the privacy banner, and everything is there. Those are features of that website. They are the capabilities. They are the things. So some might call them, that's why, like you said, that's why it could be confusing to people. Some might call them functionality. They are broken down. There are things that functionalities now you might not look at. Is it called functionalities like non-functional requirements, functional requirements, or non-functional requirements? So a lot of those terminologies, they are interchangeably used. So features could refer to your requirements. What are those requirements? Some people might say, oh, requirements. That is, what does the customer actually want? What the customer wants, their requirements to the customer, the developer might look at them as these are features of this product. The capability, the things that that product could do, if you understand my perspective. And looking at technical works could be that, oh, what are technical things that we need to do on this? We need to set up a server? Do we need to design? Do we need to set up a network configuration? Do we need to, so all those technical works then, but epics, you know, when you have your, for instance, another word that we can even add into the mix is themes. The themes, Themes, the themes. That's another thing, which is like the overall theme. For instance, someone might say, what's the theme of the work we got to do? We might say the theme is to build a bungalow. To build a bungalow. How do we break it down? Oh, we might say, okay, let's break it down to foundation, laying of blocks, roofing, plastering, and electrical works. Those could be our epics in fulfilling that theme of building a bungalow. And then we now say, okay, let's now take foundation. Foundation of a house is not just a task, it's a series of tasks. And so when it's a series of tasks, as an epic, we now say, let's break it down. Oh, we want to say, okay, break it down to, let's say, 4 or 5 user stories. And each of the user stories, oh, as a carpenter, as a bricklayer, I want to dig the ground so that I can pour concrete into it. Oh, as a carpenter, I want to fix the window so that I can put the glasses on it. Whatever, when you break down epics, you break it down to user stories, and then you now break it down to tasks that each person can pick to do. You break it down in chunks. So everything about those terminology is just to let people understand the concept of product backlog, that these are items that can be in product backlog in any place. It could be use cases, it could be defects that, oh, some of our products, they return it for us to rework on them. They are defects. It could be research. We need to do some research, intensive research. And this is not just a 5-minute thing. It's something that we might need to do for the next 1 week. So you're not going to just say, oh, that's not an issue. It's an issue because you are going to tie down 2 of our members for a whole week. So every effort, everything that will take an effort, list it in your product backlog so that it becomes as an item in your product backlog, so that when the teams are picking it, you'll be able to account for their time. Anything that you have to do that your time will be spent doing it, make it an item in your product backlog because your time will be spent on it as a team member. Okay, I hope that is clear. Any other question? Okay. Any other question? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Oludare, for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other question? Hope we find this valuable. So if you find this valuable, please follow, click and follow us, and you can express if you like it. You can like the videos, and feel free to share with your friends or with us too, and subscribe to our channel so that you can see more educational videos that could help us in improving our learning. All we're trying to do is to support people everywhere to develop their digital capabilities so that the high-paying jobs, it can become something that we will be within our grasp. Thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks a lot. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Prof.
So, yes, please.